Hello, my name is Bradshaw. Now, when you watch our videos, you may hear me say some things that aren't real words. Well, I'm here to tell you they are. So today, I'm going to give you a crash course, an intro to Hinglespeak with me, Bradshaw. Now, the first word we're going to start with is the basis of the whole language, hingle. Now, this word can be used as a noun or a verb, and it generally means to partake in the inhalation of a certain green plant. So to use it in a sentence, hey, I also got some hingle. Or as a verb, hey, you want to go get hingled? Another example, what are you up to? Oh, just hingling. That's it. That's all. Hingle. So next on the list, we've got stingle. Now, this can kind of be a homonym. It's also a noun. So like in the first instance, when we were talking about hingle, it could be an action, right? So in that case, it's kind of redundant to say you're hingling some hingle, right? So in that case, you would use stingle. What are you up to? I am hingling some stingle. It's another base word. All right, now naturally, other mind-altering substances might need their own word, correct? So, you know, when you're inhaling, you're hingling. But when you're imbibing in some adult beverages, you're dringling. It's dringle. Used in a sentence. Oh, dude, what's wrong? You okay? Yeah, man, I'm just dringled. What are you up to tonight? Probably do some dringling. Simple as that. Dringle. You may be hingled, or you may be dringled. But when you're both together, it's a special case and deserving of its own word. In this situation, you would use the word crungled. It's like, dude, whoa, you're on another level. Yeah, dude, I'm crungled. Crungled. All right. Now this is a history lesson. Where did this all come from? Well, let me tell you. The origin. The Sagopodatus. What's Sagopodatus? Well, let me tell you a story. My friends and I were just chilling. We had hingled some stingle. And we were watching the Adam Sandler movie, Mr. Deeds. There's a point in that movie where he says he's going to throw someone over his shoulder like a sack of potatoes. But to us, well, to me, what I heard was, throw you over my shoulder like a sack of potatoes. That's where that comes from. Now, afterwards, we would also use this to refer to the hingle sack, the sack in which your hingles were. So there you go, sack of potatoes. So now we're going to cover some anatomy. Now, just like the English language, there's a lot of things that have multiple words that mean the same thing, right? So in this case, when you're referring to the main member of the male genitalia, you call it a pruncus and or a prangle. It's mainly in the usage that this gets changed up. So say your friend hits you. You go, oh, you hit me right in the pruncus. Or, you might have to go to the bathroom, right? And, oh, where are you going? I got to go drangle my prangle. Obviously, and you can infer from there that you got to drain the prangle. So yeah, pruncus and or prangle. There are female speakers of Hinglespeak as well. So, of course, we got to get their bits covered as well. So in that case, what you want to go with is runkus. Now, runkus derives from a phrase, which we will be learning in the next bit. The words that are required to assemble these phrases are twofold. We got scruddle and we got tundle. Now, when you're referring to playing around with your male bits, you're saying you scruddle your prunkus. Now, if you're playing around with your female bits, what you're actually doing, you're tundling your runkus. Now, after you've either scruddled your prunkus or tundled your runkus, you might feel the need for a little bit of a release. Well, that's when you stiggle a dig. Simply put, you just need a cigarette. When you and your buddies are, hanging out, causing a little ruckus, maybe engaged in some shenanigans, we like to call that as a little bit of hoopla scootus used in a sentence. Hey, what are you guys up to? Oh, just a little hoopla scootus. Hoopla scootus. So today we're going to do something special. Now, this is a word that did exist, but never really had a meaning, never really found its place. So today, we're going to institute it as your parting words to your friends, your family. That word, scadamaraish. Scadamaraish, it's not just any parting word. You say it to those that mean something to you. When you're leaving to work, or you're departing a get-together with friends and family. Say, all right, everybody, let's get 'em a race. Now, something I would be remiss if I didn't talk about, tenses. Now, you see, they're more important than you think they are. Like earlier, when I was talking about I'm hingled, I'm stingled, that's the present tense. So now, you go past tense, it would be hungled, or stungled, or even with crungled, that changes to crangled. So there's a few tenses for you. You know you're going to have to use them if you choose to speak the language. It's important. We've already covered the solo activities of scruddling your prunkus or tundling your runkus. But what do you do when those two things come together? That, my friends, is hangy-prangy. What are you up to this weekend? Oh, me and my girl are going to engage in some hangy-prangy, if you know what I'm saying. For the first time ever on camera, I've been given a new phrase that could very well become a part of Hinglespeak. What will it be? Well, let's find out. The phrase is Drogist over. Drogist over is not based off of a person or an event. It is not the name of any of those things. In fact, it is named after how one gets to said event. Now, many of us operate motor vehicles and often take them over to our friends and families' houses. So when you arrive at said house, you're like, oh, hey, how'd you get here? Oh, I just drove us over. So now we come to the highest of holy days for those Hingali people. It is a special joyous time of year that happens in mid-spring. It's called Kringleman's Eve. Now, what's Kringleman's Eve, you ask? Well, the story of Kringleman's Eve is legendary, been passed down from generation to generation. There was a man named the Kringleman who opposed the forces of the Ubakdar, an evil authoritarian group that had taken over the land. Now you see, the Kringleman was jailed for his beliefs, for being one of the Hingali. Now the Kringleman, he looked like what you would equate to a vampire. You know, widow's peak, fangs, pointy ears. But, in fact, he's not a vampire. It's just how he looks. Now, the Ubakdar, once they captured him, threw him in this dark, dank dungeon. And night after night, he would hear these high-pitched wails from a cell down the hall. Finally, he couldn't take it anymore, and he yelled, "Stop it! What are you doing? Who are you?" The being then answered him My name is Pants. You see, Pants was a member of a majestic breed of animal known as the Kranglees. They're very, very intelligent. They have the power of flight. Now, this man Pants, he kind of resembled, like whale sharks, how they have big, gaping mouths like that. Well, that's kind of how the front of the Kranglee, how they look. And he's got two big tendrils that come out the back. So now that the Kringleman had gotten this information, he began to plan their escape. They would pass messages back and forth on the wind from their cells. Finally, one night, Pants was able to shimmy out of his cell, steal the keys from a sleeping guard. Was able to steal the keys from a sleeping guard, unlock the door, and they were able to flee. The Kringleman jumped, grabbed on to Pants' tendrils. That brilliant Kranglee Pants took off, and they soared away to rejoin the Hingali people, to aid in setting them free from the ruthless rule of the Ubak Dar. Now, once a year, we get together and celebrate this highest of holy days, getting hingled, scruddling our prunkuses, and tumbling our runkuses. Now, after you either scruddle your prunkus or tundle your runkus, you might feel the need for a little release. You might stiggle a dig. I gotta redo that because I cracked. I want it to be. I want it to be.